John Beaudin Rock History book. Today in Rock History, August 25th. Insane day. Just crazy day. Monumental albums were released. Huge musician in the history of rock and roll were released. Good singles, great stories. If it's your birthday, you know it's the 25th, so we're a few months away from Christmas. Be very, very quiet. Shh. I'm sorry I mentioned it, but it's the 25th. It's always that marker, right? We think about it. Anyway, if it's your birthday, happy birthday. If you know someone whose birthday is August 25th, share this on their timeline. We're going to go bigger with birthdays. Real soon we'll have news for you on what we're going to be doing. So, I got to put this. I tell you, every single day, something happens when it comes to this. Are you ready to roll? I think I'm ready. If you want to help the channel, by the way, there are links in the description right at the very top where you can help us out a little bit if you don't mind. In 1942... Walter Williams of the OJ's, Love Train, love that song, is born in Canton, Ohio. Happy birthday. 1949, Gene Simmons, the guy with the tongue, the guy with the makeup. Israeli-American rock guitarist is how they have him. Rock and roll all night. Born in Israel. He's a man who keeps his eye on his money. He's always looking for an angle. And I mean, I've got to admire him for that because he certainly kept his, he's got this franchise. And recently he said he wanted to keep KISS going without original members to basically have a contest, a KISS contest or something, where people would come on and try to be the new KISS, a TV show. But no networks were interested in doing it. The big album's coming up. You know what I'm talking about, though. I don't have to tell you what that album is. 1950, Willie DeVille, William Paul Borsey Jr., American rock vocalist, guitarist for Mick DeVille, is born in Stamford, Connecticut. Died in 2009. Big one, 1951, Rob Halford, Judas Priest, born in Sutton, Coldfield, England. One of the monumental voices of hard rock metal. He got it going on. And Bob Mayo on the keyboards. Bob Mayo. Remember? Peter Frampton on Frampton Comes Alive. We lost him in 2004. It's his birthday today, though. He was born on this day, 1951. Frampton Comes Alive he played with a lot of people, but of course he'll always be remembered in that core group of Frampton Comes Alive, which is still, to me, one of the greatest live albums that ever existed. Another chap we all know, Jeff Downes, keyboard player for the Buggles. Yes, in Asia, born in Stockport, Cheshire, England. Happy birthday to him. It's nice that we still have him because you know what? With the rock and roll camp these days, you never know how many people we're going to lose in the next 6 months, the next 5. Think about the next 10 years. It's crazy. Let me just move this up a little bit. In 1954, Marty Gerard, American keyboardist, vocalist for the Motels, Only the Lonely, born in Atlanta, Georgia. In 1954, Elvis Costello, Declan Patrick McManus, English rock singer, born in Paddington, London. Look at that. He's so playful. He always kind of had that. I remember someone told me once they interviewed him on a bad day, and it was so unlike him because he's known for being a pretty cool guy. But it depends. I don't know that much about Elvis. I never really bought his albums. 1955, John McCouch, Scottish rock vocalist, Magazine, Susie and the Banshees, Spellbound. Born in Greenock, Scotland, died in 2004. We don't have a picture for Billy Ray Cyrus, sorry, but he's not really our lane. So Billy Ray Cyrus was born on this day. In 1961, what do we got? Oh, another picture. 1962, Vivian Campbell, Irish heavy metal singer, guitarist, Def Leppard and Dio, born in Belfast, Ireland. In 1966, Derek Sherinian, American keyboardist, Dream Theater, Sons of Apollo, born in Laguna Beach, California. Happy birthday to him. And we lost some people on this day in 1955. R.B. Hudson, R&B soul singer, dies at 41. This was a really, really sad one. Doug Stegmeyer, who played bass with the Billy Joel band, The Ears with Billy Joel, from 76 to 87, dies of a self-inflicted gun wound at 43. We talked to Liberty DeVito about that, and he says it was just a crushing thing, not only for him, but everyone else in the band. I mean, he had suffered from depression, but some people said that he was really down about the Billy Joel thing, changing bands and stuff like that, but ultimately you never really know why someone kills themselves, right? 1999, Rob Fisher, British rock keyboardist from Naked Eyes, dies at the age of 42. And in 2001, singer Aaliyah, 8 others are killed in a air crash, in Bahamas. I remember thinking that she had talented as a singer, but I saw her in Queen of the Damned, and I remember thinking, wow, that was just such an over-the-top performance. But, you know, my mother always taught me, don't say mean things about the dead. But I saw her in that, and I'm sure she had other good performances in other places because she was getting into acting. But I remember thinking, my God, that was awful. Ha! I told you, 1975, Bruce Springsteen releases his 3rd album. It's the breakthrough. There he is, Born to Run. What a great record that is. That one and Darkness on the Edge of Town were the two that really did it for me. The two main ones for me. And 1976, Boston released their self-titled debut album with a lot of songs that were actually quite old. We talked to Jim Mestia, who had been with Tom Scholz, who put the whole thing together. And he said some of those songs were years old. It sold at least 17 million copies in the US alone and over 20 million copies worldwide. Crazy album. As I mentioned off the top, at least in my group, everyone had Boston's debut album. Everyone, like More Than the Feeling, Long Time, Peace of Mind, the 3 singles from that album. But there wasn't, and you know it, well, there wasn't a bad track on both the, Don't Look Back and the Boston debut. Brad Delp, oh my God. I bought this from a gallery in the U.S. Comes with a certificate of authenticity and everything. Tom Scholz signed it. Brad Delp signed it. I bought it after I paid a lot of money for it, but it was one of those real legitimate galleries, I almost felt like crying when I got it. I remember the day Brad Delp died, again, a suicide. And it just crushed me. After John Lennon, Brad Delp was the big one. That really, I was surprised by how down I was by losing Brad Delp. But there you go. It could be known as one of the most revolutionary albums of the 70s, considering how much it influenced so many musicians. And the fact, as I mentioned a while ago, so many of those songs were done so many years before. So we interviewed, as I mentioned, Barry Goudreau and Jim Mestia. I might put some of those clips up tonight. I'd like to talk about them a little bit more. Hold on a second. What we got here? There they are. There's Fran and from right to left, Fran and Brad Delp, Sib, Tom Scholz, and Barry Goudreau. Yeah, what a band they were. Jeez. I don't think we'll ever get something like that again that touched so many people, where the sound was refreshing. They borrowed from a lot of different things, but somehow the culmination of all their styles that they put together on that debut album, which took years to get going, ended up being something that sounded like it was the Boston sound. People called it like the Boston sound. You think that was good? Let me press a little button here. There you go. Released on this day in 1986, Graceland, Paul Simon's 7th solo album, a huge, monumental album. It was at least one of the first CDs we ever received at the radio station. And we listened to it because of the production on that album. It's just insane. But yeah, released on this day. And Metallica's 4th studio album, And Justice for All, featuring One and To Live Is to Die, was released on this day. 1992, Mary Jo Blige. Do I have a picture for that? Yeah, there you go. Mary J. Blige releases Real Love. No, that's Lauryn Hill. Sorry. 1998, that's the one. I got them mixed up. Mary J. Blige, let me just do this, releases Real Love, her first top 10 hit, top 100. Oh, I put all these pictures up and they're not showing up. 1997, Welsh rock band Stereophonics released their debut album, Words Get Around. And here she is, Miss Education of Lauryn Hill. Debut was released 5 Grammy Awards, including Album of the Year, Billboard Album of the Year in 1998. Crazy, man. The Verve released their first album since Urban Hymns in 1997. There we go. In 1970, Elton John makes his first appearance In the U.S., at the Troubadour, West Hollywood, Los Angeles, it was monumental. Elton's on the left there. Elton was very, very nervous about being there. There's Nigel. You can see half his face right in the middle. Above Nigel is Dee Murray, and they were basically the band. But it was the start of everything for Elton John. There were lots of reviews. People were curious about him. In 73, Todd Rundgren puts on a free concert at Woolman Rink in Central Park, where he records his song Sons of 1984. 1970, Jimi Hendrix opens Electric Ladyland Studios in New York City. He dies a few months later. 1994, Jimmy Page, Robert Plant reunite in a London studio to record the concert that becomes MTV Special Unplugged. And in 2006, longtime Aerosmith bassist Tom Hamilton misses his first gig in 24 years after being diagnosed with throat cancer. Ta-da! Today, this room is like a sauna. Did I mention that? Oh, crazy. To have that autographed by Tom and to have it autographed by Brad. Brad's long dead now. Brad Delp, one of the greatest rock singers of all time. I don't talk to any singers who don't mention, if they're of that ilk, they always mention Brad. It comes up in so many interviews. So I think I will release some interview clips tonight on Boston's debut. Yeah, with Barry Goudreau and Jim Mestia. And Jim was the original drummer. He sings on Rock and Roll Band, by the way, on Boston's debut. And he sings half of Third Stage. Not sings, he plays drums. Blah. Plays drums on Rock and Roll Band, and he plays half the drums on Third Stage. And he had said he thought Tom Scholz might have felt guilty for replacing him with Seb Hashian, and maybe that's why he brought him back. But he also toured with that album as well. And now Jim Mestia is doing his own thing now out of Boston. He wanted to do a bed and breakfast thing, to bring people in and to play along with him, considering he was there for the making of a lot of that before Sib Hashian came in. And Sib is dead as well. We lost him a couple of years ago. Thank you for joining us for Today in History. I appreciate you coming on and talking about this album that everyone had. No, not everyone had it, but everyone I knew had it. The self-titled Boston album, one of the greatest. Guns N' Roses has since beaten them. Shania Twain has. Whitney Houston has outsold. There's a few albums that, as far as fast as the biggest debut album, but to me, it'll always be the best debut album. I just love it. I still play it all the time. But I played not Third Stage as much, but I play Don't Look Back quite a bit because I played the debut so many times. Don't you find that? Yeah. So I'm going to read some of your comments and then we're going to take off. I got to buy shoes. Today in rock history is going to have to wait. Sue Bailey. Hi, John. Was in the middle of your David Page interview. Had to stop and say hi. Thanks, Sue. You rock. Yeah, we've got, oh my God, the misspellings lately in my videos. What the heck? I'm doing these late at night. And, I'm trying to get through all these series. Mark Farner, we still have to put up. Chris says, I grew up in North Shore and I know Brad and Sib since I was a kid. Went to Brad's house once with my music teacher, such a great guy. Oh, thank you, Chris, for sharing that. Chris says North Shore of Massachusetts, that is. I knew that's what you meant. Speaking of that, Alex, who's right underneath you, is from Boston as well. I live near Brad Delp's neighborhood. What a terrible loss it was when he died. It was just bone crushing for me. I went, what? I reached out to Barry Goudreau and I told him this when I interviewed him because I just recently interviewed Barry twice. And he remembered. I reached out to him. I said, I just want to do something. What can I do? I was like that. And back then I was still in broadcasting. It's not like I was just the fan guy. It was just crazy. Melissa, loved your wall. Oh, thanks, Melissa. We're trying to bring it into this house because my mother's 87. And I'm not saying my mother's going to get hit by a bus tomorrow, but she's 87 years old. And I told her, I said, Mom, can I have the wall back? I just want the wall. And she says, well, it's your wall. You can have it back. I said, I'm going to try to take it off because what you see on that rock and roll wall, by the way, it's all, let me see if I can show you. I don't know if I can do, yeah, I can show you. I'm pretty sure I can show you. Hold on. Give me a second. There, I'll show you. I think I can show you. Hold on. Yeah, right here. I don't know if you can see this from behind me. See behind me? Oh, sorry, my screen's dirty. See all the emblems, all the logos behind me for Today in History from a few days ago? So, and Boston's in there too. It's right on top. You can't really see it. I did that in high school, and we did it on sheetrock. And we didn't paint over it. It was sheetrock, just the off-white that it comes in. And I was just bored one day, and I started doing it. And my father and my mother said, "Hey, that's really good." I said, "Well, it's all math. I don't stencil anything. It's all done in math. I count, the Chicago logo from here to here. It's whatever inches. I doubled it because I wanted to double the size, and I just did that. And I was very artistic growing up too. I drew all the time. I wanted to be an artist originally. So, there it is. There it is. Ah, wrong way. There it is. There's the wall. Sorry about the lights. There you go. So that's in my, I only lived in the house for 2 years in New Brunswick. And I did that in 2 years. And people say, "Where's Yes?" And I'm going, well, you have to understand, I had just gotten the Toto album, and I'd basically finished most of it. So the first CD I ever bought, and one of the 2 first cassette masterpieces. Oh, anyway, Melissa, thank you. That was from Chicken to Jail. Where do you come up with these usernames? What? Anyway, thanks for joining us. Brad Delp, we're thinking about you today. Tom Scholes, we're thinking about. But luckily, we still have Tom around. Barry Goudreau still around. Fran, by the way, doesn't even have a cell phone. Barry Goudreau told me that Fran Sheehan, he doesn't have a cell phone. And if he does, he doesn't use it. So he lives in the middle of nowhere. Not I don't know if he's off the grid, but he's just out of the spotlight. And he played bass on the album. And Sib we lost a few years ago. Tom's still doing his thing with Boston. Barry Goudreau just released a great album with a great Boston sound, but he also other sounds on there because he always sounded like Boston solo. So there you have it. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate you coming on every day when I do this. Christopher, if you remember, what was your first impression of the album? I'd heard nothing like it. What was your first impression? I remember thinking I'd never heard anything that sounded like that. To me, it was like what I wanted rock always to sound like. And I've heard a lot of people say that about the first Boston album. They'd go, I didn't know what I was looking for, but I knew I'd know it if I heard it. And that was it. I always wanted my favorite rock band, they were for quite a long time, to sound like that. But I couldn't have pinpointed what I wanted. But Tom Scholz did. Tom Scholz came up with it. Glenn says, I was 11 years old when Boston released their first album. So impressed I begged for Don't Look Back for Christmas. Love to be a subscriber. You are both entertaining and informative. Hey, Glenn, thank you. Glenn Honeycutt, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. So that's kind of what we're going to start doing on this channel. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, it's unlike our other channel, which is mostly interviews. Our other channel, Rock History Music, which just, hold on. Hold on, guys. Rock History Music, our other channel just got this, which is, oh God, I never know never know where I'm leaving. That's 100,000 subscribers. I'd like for this channel to get 100,000 subscribers, but I'm sure it will one of these days. So this is going to be a Today in History thing. The other one's mostly interviews, just so that you're sure. Why did I separate them? I don't know. I shouldn't have done it, but it's too late now and I can't go back. There, I've said it. Thank you for indulging me. As always, I really appreciate you spending some time with me. I wish there was a way where I could bring callers on. Wouldn't that be cool? Where you guys would come on and I could see your face and you can comment. And now and then there'd be someone would swear at me. And that, because I've been on live radio for so many years, I've been in radio. This is my 40th year in radio. So I've gone down that road. Thanks, guys. If you want to help the channel, there are links in the description. You can join our Patreon or give us a donation. We'd appreciate that. Take good care of yourselves, guys. And if it's your birthday, happy birthday. Till tomorrow.